Hey, welcome to Dinner by Don. This is New Year's Day 2018. Wow. And I got a new toy for Christmas, a Sous Vide cooker. I'm going to show you that in a minute. What I'm making is going to be some sausage meatballs. All right, some sausage meatballs, and we're going to serve that with roasted peppers and mashed potatoes that I'm making in the sous vide. All right, so I've chopped about 5 small cloves of garlic here, and now I'm just kind of putting it into a little bit of a paste. Gonna add a little bit of kosher salt. It helps me paste it up a little bit. All right, and that's gonna go in my meatballs. All right, so what else is going in? Well, let me show you what I got here. We made a panade. All right, it's basically this is 1 cup of just dried stuffing and half a cup of milk. All right. The idea here is it helps glue and bond our meatballs so that they don't fall apart on us. And I got a recipe here also for actually using saltines. So I use some oyster crackers. So I'm going to add the oyster crackers in here. All right, this is probably a half a cup, and then 1/4 cup of milk. So I'm trying to make that panade a little different, and the saltines really work well because they have very little moisture in them, so they seem to help bind this a little bit. And if I need more, I'll crack some more. So I think that's good. All right, so that panade is made there, and what I'm using is 1 pound of bulk sausage. This is Jimmy Dean regular sausage. It's not seasoned very much at all. There's no sage in it. It's not like the sausage I would use for my sausage stuffing. Instead of a breakfast sausage, I guess. It's also not an Italian sausage either, like a sweet Italian sausage. So what I did was let me get that garlic in there. Incorporate that in there. And I'm going to have about 2 teaspoons of granulated garlic powder. All right. I got 1 small onion that I actually grated. All right, so it's got a little bit of liquid in there. And I have, I'm going to do a nice pinch of, this is grana padano, Parmesan cheese. And that's probably a good 1/4 cup right there. Now that's freshly grated. Let me show you something here. This is Pecorino Romano. It's over a cup. It's overflowing. The chunk of Pecorino Romano was about a 1 by 2 inch little chunk. And when you grate it, it's so airy. It's worth the effort. When you buy grated Pecorino Romano or you buy grated Parmesan cheese in the store, it's got all kinds of fillers in it, either cellulose or flour or something to keep it from caking, anti-caking stuff, which I guess is important, but you know, if you really want the best taste, you really want to grate it yourself. So this is just some Italian seasonings: marjoram, sage, thyme, oregano, and basil. So quite a bit of that. I may add some later, but that's a good amount there. Now I'm just going to mix it together, and we'll make our meatballs. All right, so I'm going to use this ice cream scooper actually, and just kind of try to keep them all uniform. I used a little water on the ice cream scooper to make sure that this comes off. And I got the water running there in case my hands. But this is perfect. This is not sticking at all. This is staying together really well. So my little meatballs are coming together real well. I'm going to put these on a parchment paper lined baking sheet. And I could do a number of things. I could actually put these in the oven and cook them like this, you know, at 400 degrees and cook them down. But I got a cool technique. So let me get these made, and I'll come back and show you what we're going to do with them. All right, so for the peppers, I'm just going to put a little olive oil in here and just get that around on my foil-lined baking sheet. I'm going to take our peppers and put them in there, and some garlic that I put together. All right, black pepper's done, a little bit of salt. Oopsies, baby. So this is it. This is the sous vide. It basically mounts on my water. I set the temperature here for what I want it. It tells me what the temperature is. Even got Bluetooth. I could program this thing from afar. You know, adjust this setting here. And what it does is it circulates the water, circulates hot water. And the idea here is that you don't overcook anything. It gets it to the precise temperature, cooks it, holds it, and it can just sit there. I can't overcook the meat. It'll keep it warm. So with this pork, I'm going to get it to 135, and then I'm going to finish it by just sauteing it in a pan, just to get a little fond, a little browning on there. Or I can take it and put it in a sauce and let the sauce cook down with the meatballs in there and finish the cooking in there. So we'll see what I'm going to do. Letting my meatballs chill right now in the fridge, and I'll be back. The sous vide. So for our meatballs, we're going to do a little bit of a simple sauce. So it's just got about a few cloves of garlic here. And I mortar and pestled a little bit of red pepper flakes. I'm just going to saute those until they get a little fragrant, for about 30 seconds, a minute, and we're going to put in our crushed tomatoes. There you go. So about 2 tablespoons olive oil in there, and we'll just put some crushed tomato in there with a little basil. I'm going to stir that up a little bit, and we're just going to add a little fresh basil. And the only other thing I like to add is just some freshly chopped basil, rough chopped, and then a little bit of oregano, dried oregano, of course. And I don't have a lot left, so I'm just putting in, looks like about 2 teaspoons. Pinch of salt. Throw it in, and then I'm just going to let this simmer down, and this will be a nice simple sauce. It's as quick and simple, as easy as that. Nice and bright. Go great with the meatballs. Alright, so I bumped it to 138. I was mistaken, it should be there instead of 135. And this is our meatballs. So we put them in a it's called a sous vide bag. I don't know if this is a sous vide bag or not. I really got to kind of look that up. I just got this for Christmas. But what it is it's actually vacuum pack. So I have a vacuum packer here, and you know, we get the bags here and vacuum packs and seals it, and comes out. I'm doing this with some potatoes too. So I diced up some russet potatoes, vacuum packed them. I found out that the reason I got to vacuum pack them is because with the air in there, it'll float. So we're about an hour into it, and these will merge in about another 20 minutes, and then we'll check them out. All right, so I'll cut these open, and just for the heck of it, I want to see what the temperature is on these things. I like that. I cooked them at 135. They've been out for a little bit. That's what they were. They were 135 degrees right there. So they're not cooked, of course, because, I mean, pork needs to be at 160, 150, 160. So there's my simple sauce. And I'm just going to simply put these meatballs in there. All right, and I was afraid they're going to stick, but they're actually not. All right. They're a little less meatball looking. But they're separate. There you go. So they've stayed together. They haven't fallen apart, and they're just a little flatter than a normal meatball. So we're going to let these cook in the sauce. The sauce, of course, is on simmer, and that is 180 degrees. So I'm going to turn it down. I'm going to make sure you're just going to slow cook these. Remember, the whole idea here is I want to cook these things, get them to the right temperature, not overcook them, have them be flavorful, and you know, pretty cool. So we'll come back when they're ready to go. Second bag of potatoes. All right, potatoes done. Got about 3/4 stick of butter. That was 6 russet potatoes in there. It's unsalted butter. And of course, cracked black pepper. Finely ground so nobody sees it. Get a nice dollop of sour cream. We're going to smash these up. And we'll be back to plate it up. So these potatoes, on one hand, I was like, they weren't really done, but they are done. They're just drier than potatoes that would come out of a pot of boiling water, like Mary said. Yeah. So there's my mashed potato base. And these are those meatballs. They come out of the Sous Vide bag. Put down a little bit of sauce. Nice meatball on there. Look how tender these are. They're just very tender. Beautiful. Wow. And of course my roasted peppers, tomatoes, garlic, and onion. Put a few of those on there. All right, we got sausage and peppers. Finish it off a little bit. And of course a little cracked black. And I'm going to finish mine with a little bit of pecorino romano. Wow. What a nice dish, huh? Well, I'm digging in. Mashed potatoes. So we've done, it's like butter. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. They're really good. They're very flavorful. The sauce is loaded. We got the peppers with the peppercino in there, so there's a little bite to it. And it's just, it's perfect. It's fresh. And sure, you can put this over pasta, but over mashed potatoes. Potatoes, onions, peppers, sausage. It's a classic Italian dish. We made it and we used meatballs. And we used our sous vide. So, great start to the new year with a new tool. And a lot more Dinner by Dons to come in 2018. Happy New Year all. Bon appetit.